Hello, sir. Hello everyone, this is Ramesh MS. I am one of the campus lead at DevIncept. I hope you are all enjoying this Christmas weekend. Today we are going to gather for an espresso on topic Flutter Basics. I am happy to welcome Atri, who is a former Google Developer Students Club lead. Currently he is working at NCR Technosolution, and he is also a founder of Firebase Community Kolkata. The rest of the session will be handled by him. At the end of the session, we will circulate a Google form, drop your feedback, and get certified. Hello Atri.
Hi, am I audible?
Yeah. Now you can take over the session.
Okay, thank you for the nice introduction.
Yeah,
And I am really sorry because I am not in time.
no
I
worries.
actually, uh, went for some important meeting with my clients and all. So I'm really deeply regretted.
Sure,
Okay,
sure, no
le-
worries.
okay. Let's not waste any more time. Let's just dive in into Flutter. Okay. So first of all, let me know like. Okay, let me open my cam, otherwise even will be bored. Okay, first of all, let me know like how many of you have started exploring Flutter and how many of you have really indulged into Flutter. So that will really help me. Okay, I'm checking comments. There is no comments and all. Okay, okay, no issues. Let me start from the beginning. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. So if it's visible, then let me know in the comment section. Okay, uh, just a bit. Just a bit. There is some issue in StreamYard. I think I cannot share my screen. So please wait. Yes. Is it visible? Okay. So, okay, I'm sharing a slide right now. So, can you check my slide? Okay. Uh, so let's start again. I face some issue in the permission section. It happens sometimes. Okay. So our topic is today basic of Flutter. So let's start with the basic questions like what's Flutter? So as it says, Flutter is the Google new UI toolkit to build beautiful applications. And what does it mean by beautiful application? Beautiful means the widgets are smooth, the animation are smooth, the transitions are smooth, and it's easy to use for the users. And the most amazing part of the Flutter is like it gives you the native experience. It is not hybrid. It compiles in the native code, whatever platform you are using, and with a single code base you can make applications for multiple platforms, okay, like mobile, web, desktop, watch OS, car OS. So whatever OS right now available in the market, you can make applications for them using Flutter. So Flutter is kind of a global solution, you can say. Okay. So, first, before going into the language tour of Flutter, let me tell you about the story behind Flutter. So, there is some issues between the web team of Google and the Android team of Google. So, they made a platform like that. So, for the application you are making for mobile devices, you can directly make for these on websites. So that's why Dart is being introduced for Flutter. Dart is being used for Flutter. So there is a compiler called Dart to JS. So whenever you will put your code for website, your Dart code for your website, then the compiler make your Dart code for into JavaScript and it runs in your website. Okay, so it's basically a short history about Flutter. So, so there is a language tool of Flutter. So Flutter basically use Dart. So Dart is the official language of Flutter. So why Dart? So with Dart, with a single code base, you don't need another language for design and logic. With Dart you can make design also and you can make logic also, and Dart suppose ahead of time compilation and just in time compilation. Okay, so there are lots of feature in Dart. So Dart is also lightweight, and learning the learning curve of Dart is really easy. If you have any knowledge in C or Java, in Kotlin also, you can easily adopt Dart. It's not any hard language. When I will show you the code and all, you can check the Dart. The code is really understandable for basic students. Okay, so now jump into the benefit of Flutter. The Flutter provides the benefits to you, like the consumers and the developers also. So, first of all, the plus point is it's backed by Google, and Google daily maintain this project and daily upgrading it, and it has a large community support. So, if I say about India, so I'm not sure it came in late 2018 in India, but in Kolkata we started Flutter in 2018 when Flutter was in alpha or beta stage. So there are lots of community, lots of people are doing Flutter, and if you check the project in GitHub, you can check there are lots of issues and lots of pull requests. So there's a large community support you will get for Flutter. And yes, so if you are making your project using Flutter, not native like Android or iOS, your development speed will fast because your one language will be run in multiple platforms. So you no need to take care of this. What you just need to make some specific changes related to Android and iOS because there are lots of things required for iOS and lots of things required for Android. So these minimal changes and your development speed will be faster to launch any product. And as I said earlier, the user interface and the customization is really fine in Flutter, and the UI design is very good. And yes, so Flutter is not an hybrid, not running on any layer. Depending on the platform, it compiles into the native code. Like if you are compiling your Flutter for your Android version, then with the JDK compiler, what does it say? Yeah, JDK and DVM, it will compile into the native Java code, and then the C++ library, kind of like that. And for iOS, it will compile into the IPA and the native code. So Flutter will provide you the native performance, so your performance will not lag, it will faster and all. And yes, so if you have any application in Flutter, in Android or iOS, then you can easily migrate it into Flutter with some minimal changes and all. And as I said earlier, it provides you the native performance. So accessing the device feature like accelerometer, your GPS locations, and all, Flutter have a strong depth in it. So using Flutter, you can easily handle the device features, and of course, cost effective because if you are thinking about any startup, if you are thinking about any company, if you want to make projects, so if you use Flutter as your framework, as your language, then you can save cost because you don't need to maintain two teams for Android and iOS, make another team for web application. You can just make a good team of Flutter developers and you can cut your cost there. And there's amazing thing, Fuchsia. So as you know, Google is launching a new operating system called Fuchsia. So basically, Fuchsia is designed to use Flutter applications. So Fuchsia will be everywhere, like what the iOS, macOS, and watchOS is providing for Apple, right? If you are reading any story in your iPhone, and if you just open your macOS, MacBook, then you can check from where you have left. You can start from there. So it's basically magic in iOS, macOS, and watchOS. So that thing is Fuchsia coming. It will be a universal applications. Universal OS, and it will be everywhere, like your mobile, your desktop, your card, your home applications, and all. So in this OS, Flutter app will be used, and there are lots of applications available right now which written in Dart in Flutter for Fuchsia OS. Okay, so in a nutshell, it's a portable UI framework for all screen, no matter how large your screen is, no matter what the screen is. If it's a mobile, it's a website, your TV, Flutter will run hassle free. So it's an example of my application. So the left one, this application is on Android. This one is your in a website, and this one in iOS. So the same thing is running in multiple platforms. So it's an example. Okay. So yes, as Flutter provides you lots of plus points, so the community is adopting it very fast. So right now it has 134K plus stars in GitHub and lots of community, lots of technical blogs in Medium. So if you are stuck in Flutter, if you just Google it, you will get a solution. And if you not get a solution, if you put in on a Slack or in other kind of platform, you will get it. And moreover, Flutter has a channel, so Google is maintaining it. So if you write there, the official Flutter developers, official Flutter developers mean, I say, like the Googlers who are maintaining the project, they will help you. So you will get a really good support if you are using Flutter. Okay, so let's talk about the difference between Flutter and React Native. So Flutter and React Native both are cross-platform, and as Flutter using Dart, so it has AOT and JIT compilers, so it's fast actually than React Native, and the Flutter code actually compiles into the native C++ library codes, and it can talk directly with the device. So Flutter is comparatively fast than React Native. And if I say about Ionic, so Ionic is basically runs on website, so you have to make application using HTML, JavaScript, CSS, and it will run as a website. But in Flutter, you will get a native flavor, native experience. Okay, so there are some list which the companies are using Flutter right now. So BMW, Alibaba, Alipay. So Alibaba Group using Alipay. So the Alipay is now made in Flutter. And if you are using GPay, so GPay is also converted into Flutter. And there are some glimpse of the really well-made applications in Flutter. So New York Times, Square. So there is Hubbard one. So actually, this application is made by me, sorry, made by my company. So it's available in Play Store. So these things are made in Flutter, and Tencent also using Flutter. Okay, so it's overview of Flutter. What is Flutter and where it being used. So till now, if you have any queries, please let me know in the comment section. Okay, so first question is Flutter is also look alike React Native. So what's the basic difference? What's the difference? Okay, so as I said, Flutter is Flutter compiles with the native C++ libraries, and so uh, it is faster than React Native. So React Native is slow because React Native face some issues while it's talking to the device architecture. And if you say about documentation, so Flutter has lots of inbuilt widget, so you can use it. But for React Native, the documentation is not very good, and the learning curve is very hard than Flutter. And there are lots of packages you have to install from open source libraries and all. But for Flutter, there are lots of widget officially in the Flutter SDK, and if you cannot use it, if you don't want to use it, if you want to make like if you want to make other kind of stuff, then there are lots of library available. But the widget quantity is better in Flutter than React Native. And for the UI is smoother than Flutter. So in my company, we do projects in Flutter, also in React Native. So the applications in Flutter is smoother than React Native projects. So we checked it, and and there is a basic difference, like uh, Flutter isn't Dart, which is really easy to learn from my perspective. So when you will start it, you can check. And for React Native, you have to learn JavaScript in a very uh, depth way. So yes, so and there are lots of differences, like Flutter is maintained by Google, and React Native is maintained by Facebook. And the community support in React Native is not much active as Flutter. So right now, if you check on Slack and also official Googlers, they talk to you when you face some issues and when you face some issues. But I didn't see that kind of effort for React Native. So yes. So next question is, does Fuchsia launched? So Fuchsia is not launched yet, but some of the developers are doing beta testing. So I think it will launch in few months maybe. But when Fuchsia will launch, it will rock. Okay, and next question. Okay. Okay, right now, then I'll again share my screen, and we'll make an application using Flutter. So first of all, I'll show you how to start a Flutter project and all. Okay, so let's give me some time to open my IDE. So first of foremost, so if you starting Flutter, so first of all, what you have to do. So let me open the Chrome again. So there is a flutter.dev. So it's the official website for Flutter, and there is like it's change lot of things. Yeah, if you want to install it, so there is lot of platforms. Chrome is Linux, Mac OS Windows, and you have to choose any kind of websites, and there is the SDK, so you have to download it, and you have to set the path, and then you have to install Android Studio. Mm, you can use VS Code also, but you need Android Studio because Android Studio does provide you the emulator where you have to run it, and then you have to install packages, plugins, right? Like what I have installed, like Dart and Flutter also. Okay, so that's the basic setup about Flutter in your system. So when you will open the Actor Studio, you will check a window like this. Then click on New Flutter project, and then it will ask something like that. Do next, put a name like event 2. Okay, new project. You can put your package name also. Kotlin and Swift, Android, iOS. Right now we don't need web, so do finish, and your Flutter project is being processed, and here is the new Flutter project. Okay, so now comes into the folderization. So you will check there is a parent folder called project, and here is a another folder with the name we just have provided, like event 2. Okay, just yeah, event 2, and here are lots of folders and files right now. Okay, so we'll concentrate on this kind of things, like there is a folder called Android where we'll write specific library or installation guide or Gradle files, versions, project version for Android, or the permissions and all, and same as for iOS folder. And as we didn't select the web, so we didn't get the web folder, and we have a leaf folder where actually we have to write our Flutter codes, and there is another folder called test where you actually have to write the tests for your Flutter project. So externally you don't need to test your Flutter project, you can write test inside it. Okay, so is the basic folderization, and another most important part is the prospect.yml. So whatever plugins you have to use, whatever dependencies you have to use, you have to put it inside of this prospect.yml folder file, and there is the SDK versions and all, and there is also kind of, if you have to use images also, you have to mention it. You have to use any font also, you have to mention it here. So basically the prospect.yml is kind of an index of your project. So whatever thing you have to use in your Flutter project, you have to mention it in your prospect.yml, and then you have to run a public. Okay, that's it. And if you have to go main.dart, so a basic code is being written by the SDK. Okay, So now let's run it. So I will run it on iOS. So when we'll make another application using API and all, then I'll run with the application both on iOS and Android also. Then you can check the magic. Okay, now just run it. So first of uh, the run, it will take a little time to compile. Okay, so it's being compiled. Okay, so it's the basic boilerplate application provided by the Flutter SDK. So if you press the button, the number will increase. Okay, so now let me introduce you the most adorable feature in Flutter. Okay, now you will check the number is now 13. Okay, make it 16. So now I do want to change the color of the app bar. Okay, so what I'll use, I'll just I will make the app bar color colors dot red. Okay, so if I just put hot reload, it will change automatically, and this result is static. It's not changing, so it's called hot reload. So hot reload, what actually does, it starts the changes from the point you just have ended. Okay, and if I do hot restart, so it is the hot restart button. So if I did it, then the application will start from the beginning. So it's the hot reload is one of the good feature in Flutter. Okay, so you no need to run the application from the beginning. You just do hot reload, and your application will show the changes from the right. Okay. So is the basic features of Flutter and all. So, okay, now let me tell you about the codes. So first of all, the void main run up my app. Okay, so like the I'm sure like the audience, you are known to C, because many of you are many of you have done C in your first semester, or in your 10 plus 1 or 10 plus 2. So it's like that. Word main, it's the main entry point of the application. And then we have run app, and run app does need a class name. Okay, so no need to put my app, it can be anything. Like, so my app is the class name, so we just put it. So what is the stateless widget and stateful widget? Okay, now there is two things. So basically everything in Flutter is widget. So if you check the button, it's a widget. If you check the text, it's a widget. If you check the app, it's a widget. So everything is widget in Flutter. And there are two types of widget in Flutter, basically three types. But in general purpose, we have to use two types. Okay, one is stateless, another one is stateful. Okay, so stateless. So what is stateless and what is stateful? Okay, so if you have checked the app bar, it's static. The app bar doesn't change with the user introduction. Okay, so in the life cycle of your application, your app bar will not change, and this button will not change. Okay, so these kind of widgets are called stateless widget because it doesn't hold any state, it's static. But if I press it, this text is dynamic, it's holding a state and it's being changed with the user interaction. That's why it's a stateful widget. Okay, so basically it's the basic difference about stateless widget and stateful widget. Okay, now we have to so where I was, we have to put a class name, and your class should be extends into a stateless widget or a stateful widget. Okay, next thing, we'll check. So if I just write, so you no need to write all the things overhead and all. If you just write stl, your thing will come up, everything will be right, done automatically. And if you just write stf, and everything will be done for you. Okay, so yeah, so like this you can make your stateless and stateful widgets. Okay, now let's come into the build section. Okay, so basically what I said key, uh, we have three types of widget. So this build is kind of a builder widget. So builder widget is being used in stateless widget, also in stateful widget. So basically we say three types of widget available in Flutter, but in daily work or in general purpose we say two types of widget. So this build is also kind of a widget, it's a builder widget. Okay, now widget build is the main function where you write your UI codes and all. Okay, so first of all you have to make material app. So there are two kinds of application available in Flutter. One is material app and one is Cupertino app, but I don't use Cupertino app most. But in the entry point, you have to make material app. Okay, so after write this class name in the uh, run app, your class might be return a material app. Okay, then you have to put a title and all, and then in home there is another parameter called home, and in home you have to put another widget which actually is your code. Okay, so run app is the entry point of your application, and material app is the entry point of your UI of your Flutter project. Okay, so till now you have done it, and next come into the scaffold section. Okay, so I have told a little bit introduction about the Flutter project. Let me check the comment section if you have any codes and all. Okay, okay, not any questions. Okay, no problem. Okay, so now what is scaffold? So let me delete this things, this comment. So scaffold is kind of the structure of your application. Okay, so if you check this, there is app bar, there is body. So whatever your application is using, this app bar, this body, this button, there is bottom navigation bar, there is drawer, all are present in the scaffold. So scaffold is kind of the structure of your house. Okay, so if you don't put the structure, if you don't define the structure, you cannot make the Flutter application, you cannot make the house. Okay, so scaffold is the basic structure need for the Flutter. So scaffold has lots of properties like background color, bottom sheet, drawer, and all. Okay, and then we have app bar, and then we have body also. Okay, now in this application we have, you check, there is a function called increment counter, and it's being called in the floating action button. So this button is calling this function. Okay, this increment counter, and you check, there is a function called set state, an anonymous function called set state. So what is set state actually? So as you can check, it's a stateful widget which actually holding a state. So whenever you are triggering this function, you are increasing a number, and you have to rebuild the widget with that number. Okay, so right now my number is 32, and if I press 1, this count is 33, and the widget rebuilds. As Flutter runs in 60 fps, you cannot check the building time, you just checking it automatically, and it's in a glance. But this set state, when set state is called, this build function rebuilds again. Okay, so that's why, that's how the stateful widget actually works. So in the create state, it actually creates the initial state, and when you call set state, then it replaces the old state with the new state you are providing to the UI. Okay, so there is a call state object. So I'm not going very deep right now because I'm doing the basic. So maybe later we can dive deep. Let's hope. Okay, so it's the basic function of set state. So if we want, we can make another floating action button, and make it for a minus, and put it size box. Counter, and for the decrement counter, if counter greater than 0, then we will decrease it by 1. If it is equal to 0, then we will not perform it. Okay, so you check it, then we have two buttons here, and make it center. Center. Okay, so now we have two buttons, one for adding a button and one for decreasing a button, decreasing the number. Okay, so you can check in a small code base, you can make a really cool application. So you don't need any hardcore knowledge, any hardcore thing. Just go with the flow, and you can make a Flutter project. Okay, so that's basically a entry level Flutter project what we used to teach the basic students and all. And this project is provided by the SDK. So it's the basic introduction with your Flutter project, what you will see when you will start a Flutter project and all. Okay. Now we'll dive into the next thing. I'll make an application which actually talks with internet and shows the result from the internet depending on the API. Okay, so till now, if you have any question related to this entry level Flutter project and all, I'm okay to take questions. So it's 7:31 actually, and 7:32 more specifically. Uh, uh, we can take question for 1 to 2 minutes. Then I'll dive into the next part. Okay. I don't think you have any questions right now. Okay. Now I'll dive into the next part. Let me share my screen again. Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Please make it on front. Thank you. Okay. I think some of you are very new to application development. So what the API I will use. So uh, I didn't got my API key. So I got API key for this API, the news API. So I lost my API keys for sports API, sports database and TMDB database. So let do with this API, no issues. It will work again. So when you hit any API, you will check this kind of data. So basically, you have to convert this data into a element. So what we need actually. So just do this and validate this JSON. Okay. Now it's called a JSON file. So JavaScript network kind of stuff. The full name. So there are key name like author, title, description, URL, and all, and we'll parse it in our application. Okay. So there are lots of method available in Flutter to handle the states. So there are methods like set state, provider, block pattern, scope model, reactive way, uh, revert port, getx. So as it's a basic uh, workshop, we'll start with set state. Okay, so because you just came to know what is set state and what is a stateful widget. Okay, so let's delete it. So first of all, we have to import the library for material, and we'll write void main. You can write main also. And now we need a run app, as I said earlier, and mm, and stateless widget. We need mm, demo app, and we'll pass this name here, demo app. And now what it up for constant because it's a constant. And now what I said, like to return a material app. Okay, so and in material app we have to return a home. So in home we will use the actual code. So we have the news screen. Okay, and we'll pass this thing here. So now sorry, my bad. I'll make it constant. No issue. Okay, so it is a scaffold. We have to return a scaffold, and we'll make a app bar. We'll provide a title, so you can check it's really use, and you can learn with a flow. So if you write a title, so title actually accept a text widget. So today business today. So it's the name you can provide. So if you click it, so you can check. Yes. So what we need to do, because we have to refresh it. So you can check business today is available. So why it showed me an error, because we have deleted all the codes and also Flutter lost the states, and it didn't get a point of where it has to run the hotlet kind of stuff. So and the class name also have changed, and also that's why it showed me an error. Now it's fixed, and now we'll make the color of it colors dot gray. Cool. It's not very cool. Make it teal. Yeah, better than previous. Okay, now our app bar is ready. What we need right now, the body where the actual news will be displayed. So in body, as you can check where I was. So there are lots of things. So if you have to handle lots of child or lots of widget, you have to run list view. Okay, or call up ordo. So let's come with list view dot builder, because we don't know the quantity of the news we'll get. Next, we return our text and our item count will be the dynamic kind of thing. Okay, so now is the magic. So we have to make it stateful widget right now. So sorry, stateful widget. Now Mm, we have to make a class actually. Okay, so how we'll make a data class, a model class? We'll copy it, and there is a tool called JSON to Dart. We'll paste all our JSON here. We'll generate the Dart code and we'll copy the Dart code, and we'll make, we can delete the test folder. We'll not file, let's use model, paste it, and there are some issues because this tool is not using the null safety, but we are using null safety in our applications, so that's why it's giving me an error. Please allow me some time to resolve the errors. So how this error will go, we have to make it nullable because we may receive null data, and here we have to receive also, we can receive null data, and it will be resolved. Okay, and here we have to put it this, remove the new keyword because new keyword is deprecated. Okay, so it's our model class. So whatever data we will get from the API, if we pass the data in the model class, we can manipulate the data and we can show it. Now let's come to the main.dart. So it's not a very good practice to write your logic in your UI, but as it's a basic workshop, so I have to write it. So in the init state, we have to make a function. It's a future function. So whenever you are dealing with, hmm, whenever you are dealing with API, you don't know how when you will receive the data. Not API, any kind of lengthy stuff. Then you have to write a function which returns a future. Okay, get news, and of course it's a asynchronous function. And okay, I forget. So I have to add a dependency called HTTP. You can use die also, but let's start with HTTP, and we have to do pubget. Pubget. Okay, and our library is being installed. And now what we will do, we'll remove these. So we will import the library we just have installed. To put the URL here, and we have to just make it for this right now because this was giving me error and it was not looking very good. It's on dot. It's on dot. Decode. It's on dot decode and what we'll do. Okay. What we can do if you not put any return statement, that will be very good because we are write logic in the UI part. So let's do it in a different way. So what we can do, we can use business model news. So let's get news is equal to dot foundation news data. Uh, Maybe we can use it, and I don't think it will give me an error. But if it gives me, then we have to make it a different because as I'm not very much used to write this kind of code because we don't do this practice. So, but okay, let's deal with it. And we have to put a flag is loading false. Okay, make it true. So whenever the news will be received, we'll make this is loading false. Okay. Now let's come here. So whenever the loader is moving, is loading, then we'll put activity indicator and thing will be uh, news news dot articles dot length. Have to put null check and here to put null check. And here we have to do like news dot articles index dot title. So whatever news we'll get, we have to show in this way, and we have to write the init state also. So whenever the class will be started, so the init state will called super dot init state, and this function will be called. Okay. Okay. Alright, yes, of course. So yeah, I have to put the URL also here. So what's the my URL? My URL is actually this. So this is the total URL. Okay, ignore, have to update to stop the function, and now we have to run it. Okay, so it's launching and you can check the indicator is moving. Maybe there is some problem as I guessed. Okay. Okay. So as you have checked, so let's run it from beginning. So the indicator is moving whenever the data has come, indicator fades out and you check the news. So and right now the news in a very distorted order. So let me make beautiful, little bit beautiful. So what we can do, we can add some padding and we can do some styling. Color, color dot black, and size will be 25. Make it bigger. Okay. If you do it, so you can check. It's little bit editable than previous, and you can check the news has come from API and it's being displayed. Okay, now we have done in iOS, so let's test this kind of stuff run in Android or not. So what I'll do, I will just do refresh. Mm, yeah, I can do it from here also. So I'll start and Android emulator. Yes, the Android emulator is available right now. So what I'll do, I will make this, stop it, and run for Android. It's running on SDKG phone. That's mean Google phone. Mhm. Let's wait for some time. Okay, so it's have come, and yes, the same thing you are watching it. So is the two platforms available in front of you. One is iOS and one is Android, and the same thing is running without any changes in both platforms. So is the magic of Flutter. So I think you have enjoyed it. So now I am available for some questions. So if we meet next, then I will show you like other state management principles. So today we have done with set state, which is actually a very worst practice because we are not way to write logic inside the UI code. We have to make separate. So UI does not know about what logic is being used. It should be totally unaware about logic, but we have done it because it's the basic session and you have to learn how the things works no matter what. Okay, so now I am available for some questions. So let's have it.
Hello, Atri. Thanks for being here. I guess there is no question for this.
Okay, and I think it's done, and I'm really
Yeah,
sorry I couldn't make it on time. So,
no
I'm really
issues. Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, so if you have any questions later, so I'm available on LinkedIn and other platforms. So just do me a ping.
Yeah, you can see the
Okay,
Google form for certificate. Please do fill that form for certificate. Yeah, okay. Thanks for joining us. We are going to end the session. Bye.